So way back when some people who loved a good conspiracy theory claimed that birds aren't real. I mean seriously, birds not real? Give me a break. According to these conspiracy guys, birds are actually secret government drones. Crazy, right? Now, if we look today, turned out the government is actually making bird drones. The US government might be sending out bird-looking drones soon. What was once a wild conspiracy is turning into reality. This is gonna shake things up because birds are everywhere, man. Imagine a future where some of these birds are actually government drones keeping tabs on us. But like, how did they even come up with this idea? And how it's gonna work? Let's dig deeper. The start of birds are drone conspiracy. In the USA, bird watching is a pretty big thing. A lot of people are into it as a serious hobby. Every day, you've got millions waking up early just to catch a glimpse of birds. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these bird watchers started noticing something a bit weird about them. Turns out they felt like they weren't watching the birds were watching them. And not just like in a normal way, like the way that animals do when they spot something new. Nope. The bird watchers were convinced that these birds were actually tailing them and noting their every single move. According to them, these birds weren't just regular birds. They seemed more like robotic security cameras fixed on tree branches. Like seriously, what's up with that? Were these claims true? How in the world did the government manage to swap out birds for drones? Let's dig into the details. Birds Aren't Real movement by Peter McIndoe.
I'm a part of a movement called Birds Aren't Real.
When this rumor that birds are not real came up, people turned into mob and searched online for the truth. So Peter McIndoe came forward and became the founder of Birds Are Not Real movement. According to him, the USA government killed 12 billion birds in the American sky to replace them with surveillance drones. And while the drones look like real birds, the people who watch birds can watch and feel the difference. He said that these bird-like surveillance drones are watching us every day and every night. According to him, this was all real. The government wanted to keep in check of the people, so it came up with this clever trick. But is there any truth to this? Are the birds really just surveillance drones? Scientists did try to make the bird-like drones. Believe it or not, scientists have definitely tried to create bird-like drones. It may sound crazy, but yeah, they've hit a roadblock because birds are incredibly efficient flyers. Making a drone that both looks and moves like a bird was a major challenge. The thing is, when they attempted to mimic bird flight with artificial machinery, they found out that it couldn't match the way real birds fly. So the whole blame came down to the materials used for these drones. There's no such thing that could replicate a bird's wing and generate the same thrust or aerodynamic forces. Plus, birds can fly in all directions. They're experts, of course, so basically to replicate real birds' abilities to fly into machinery sounded like an impossible thing. Now there are drones like octocopters and hexacopters that use lift and thrust to mimic certain flying patterns. But making a drone that genuinely behaves like a bird? Nah. So how is the US government planning to release bird-like drones into the sky when imitating bird flight seems impossible? Scientists are making bird drones by killing real birds. Scientists really had to get creative when it came to making bird-like drones. I mean, they were aiming for a drone that could soar through the skies just like birds. Turns out though, strapping sensors and gadgets onto birds messed up their flights. Birds are pretty sharp, you know? Unlike dogs, you can't just throw collars and sensors on them. You can try it, they'll tear those sensors right off. Now here's the deal. Sticking cameras directly on the birds wasn't an option either. Sure, they could attach big cameras, but they'd be visible to us, and of course, this will defeat the whole point of bird surveillance. Plus, birds are more into their food than snooping around homes and offices. So the smart move for scientists was to design a robot drone that looks like a bird. And what's the trick they pulled off? They figured why not use actual bird bodies and outfit them with drone components through taxidermy. Scientists claim their bird drones are for animal surveillance. Scientists are creating bird drones using real bird bodies using machinery parts. They claim that these drones are specifically designed for wildlife surveillance, not for spying on humans. The rationale behind using bird drones instead of traditional ones is to avoid disturbing animals with the noise generated by regular drones. However, some skepticism exists regarding this claim, given the advancements in technology that have made drones much quieter over the years. There's a growing lack of trust in both science and government among the general public. Many people suspect that these drones are actually intended for human surveillance, and that the government is trying to deceive the public by portraying them as wildlife monitoring tools. It's a surreal thought to consider that the pigeon you feed every day could potentially be a government drone gathering information about you. Scientists are still working to make better bird drones. So these scientists are basically working night and day to upgrade the bird drones. They're hunting for birds that can pull off the drone gig without anyone realizing. And you won't believe it, but the key is in the wings. The structure and color are game changers. Why? Because birds need to fly under the radar, without drawing attention. Think albatrosses. Those bad boys are white, blending right in with the sky. Smart move, right? So it's not just about being fancy, it's about being stealthy. Now here's where it gets interesting. Is this whole drone bird thing just for keeping tabs on us? Wildlife doesn't give a hoot about bird species or wing colors. They're just minding their own business. But us humans, we're the ones who crane our necks to check out the birds soaring above. So is the government on a mission to find an easier way to keep an eye on all of us? Scientists are trying to make durable bird drones. Here's another point to consider about these drone birds. Scientists are making them tough so they don't break easily if they hit something big. Animals might run away if they see a drone, but humans might try to attack and break it. So it seems like these bird drones are meant for watching humans, even though scientists say that they're for watching animals. The way scientists are making drones more like birds is kinda scary. Like this guy, Xinyang Deng, made a robot that acts like a hummingbird. It's really cool, but also kind of freaky. Hummingbirds are tiny, so if the government starts using drones that look like them, we won't be able to tell if they're real birds or not. Can you imagine how different things would be if tiny bird-like drones were flying all over the USA spying on people? So how do the government and scientists explain why they're making these bird drones? What's their story? Are those really for watching people and not animals? It's a question we should think about as we try to understand what's going on with this new technology. Scientists see these bird drones as toys for children. Scientists are telling us that in the future, birds and drones are going to be so alike that telling them apart will be nearly impossible. While they acknowledge this development, they see it as a mixed bag because, let's face it, technology has its upsides and downsides. It's like a two-faced coin. They're kind of turning a blind eye to the potentially harmful side of bird drones. To them, these drones are more like cool toys that can bring joy to kids and help us understand wildlife better. But here's the twist. All that funding and research isn't just to make fancy toys. These bird drones are basically intelligence weapons, snooping on everyone to gather loads of info. Imagine a regular day and there's a bird chilling nearby, secretly noting down what you're up to. It gives the government some serious control over our actions and choices. Sure, there might be some perks, but is it really worth sacrificing millions of real birds for it? Plus, we all have the right to our privacy. If the government's going to invade that privacy with these bird drones, it doesn't seem like the smartest move. So are we saying goodbye to real birds in the sky? Only a tiny percent of bird drones will be released. While it may seem a bit out there, the US government isn't exactly planning to wipe out all our feathered friends and replace them with drones. Instead, the plan, if there is one, involves offing a portion of the bird population and swapping them out with drones. Imagine this, millions of birds gone, and in their place, bird-like drones perched on rooftops and power lines, just casually observing people's activities. The process involves turning bird bodies into drones after the birds meet their untimely end. Picture every flock having a drone or two among them keeping tabs on what's happening below. And you know what's kind of wild? The scientists are playing it off. They say that these are just harmless gadgets for animal surveillance and kids play. But let's be real, trusting the government and science is a bit of a gamble. Here's the kicker. Who's to say that these bird drones are some cutting-edge tech? There's a good chance that scientists have been messing with these things behind the scenes for years, maybe even decades. Now the government is just spilling the beans, but who knows what they've been up to all this time? Anyway, this was all we had for this video. The next time you go outside, keep a watch on the birds around you to see if there's anything suspicious about their behavior or if they might be paying too much closer attention to you. There's a high chance that it might be a drone. If you want more content like this, stay tuned to the channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments and do share it with your friends and family to raise awareness.